Hey guys, my name is RyanCentral and welcome to HitScan. In this video I want to go over all of the new stuff that we've been set press kit wise for Act 2, which starts next week. Don't have patch notes, don't have any more information on the Yoru or map reworks for example, but we do have the new Skinline that's going to be in the game, as well as some of the Battlepass assets. So yeah, in this video we're going to go over all of it in one go, no 30-minute Battlepass video. I'll just show you some of the stuff on screen as an example. So this is the Skinline Gaia's Vengeance. Has a lot of different stuff, variants and stuff, a little bit of gameplay to show off, which we'll touch on very shortly, but the majority of things that we've got are the 2D renders, so unfortunately have to just look at them picture-wise, but should have some gameplay to show off, like I said, in a couple of minutes. For example, you've got the Ghost, you've got the base version, which I really like this style. I was wondering sort of when we'd get this kind of Skinline in the game. As somebody that remembers like the overgrown Orisa skin in Overwatch, it's definitely that kind of vibe. Not sure on the red as like the base color though, I suppose. To an extent, I can understand some people saying that it reminds them of like the Reaver Vandal as an example, just this whole style, but it's a lot more sort of nature themed. And I might as well show off the variants whilst we're going through each of the different ones. We have the blue one, which I think personally is certainly nicer than the red, that's for sure. It's almost like an Ori in the Blind Forest kind of stuff going on. You've got green, which obviously thematically fits very well with this whole skin line and the finisher, which again we'll touch on. And then the last one being this more like reddish orange color in comparison to the base one, which is sort of similar, but I guess more like inverted colors instead of the gray tree sort of vines across it. It's more of a darker color, which again looks really cool, looks a lot more like fiery and yeah, more interesting I think than the base version. So the variants are still pretty cool. The other guns that you can get are the Marshal, which there isn't that many great Marshal skins in the game, I'd say, for the most part. So seeing the option here I think is a really cool one. I think you get to see a lot more of what the Skinline has to offer with its aesthetic, what it's meant to be, what it's meant to do. Kind of go over again onto the blue variant, which really looks nice and shiny. I think a lot of people are going to gravitate to this one the most. The green one, which again, I like the fact that the vines are a lot darker, but I still think the blue one's my favorite. And then reds with the darker vines. Yeah, very cool. Like, I think that this is one of those skin lines that might not appeal to people on first looking, but again, it depends how it works in game, what the reload animations are, those kind of things. Still a lot to really experience for yourself, right, as we are now touching on to the Guardian. Again, can keep it quick. Guardian, the longer guns I think suit it quite a lot. You got the blue version as well as the green one, which I'm showing off. Again, because these are just images, we can kind of skim through them, and in all honesty, this has sort of surprised me. I think embargo was kind of changed around a little bit last minute, so yeah, it's a bit of a mess. But most people are going to be wondering, we've had a lot of Phantoms recently, is it a Vandal? The answer is yes. Weirdly that we don't have any like side panel images of the guns, to be honest. I don't know why, but I think the Vandal seems to suit it overall. I'm curious on what the gun's going to sound like when it fires. The animations, I suppose, of the bullets, we can check a bit more. But as I'm just sort of talking, quickly showing off the different versions of the variants for the Vandal. Again, we could be quick. I do like the melee. The melee has got this like Stormbreaker vibe about it, just with the axe and the tree trunk hold of it. I think it's really cool in red. Blue, again, I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy. I just think it's the style that seems to fit the most, because again, very much reminds me of Ori in the Blind Forest kind of stuff. You got the green one, which looks all right. And then finally the red variant, which I think certainly looks the coolest, but I'm a big fan of the blue. Saying all that though, quickly show off all of the stuff that you get with the buddy, the cards and the spray. Don't know how much this is either. We haven't got any information on how much it costs. But yeah, let's go over some of the gameplay of the set now. And it also shows off a bit of what new Yoru looks like too. I think a lot of people could see this kind of finisher coming in from a mile away. Also, if you're curious about the new rework of Yoru, there is a video going over all of this. Not really seeing anything that's dramatically new, I suppose, for the most part. So it is cool to see, again, new Yoru, which I assume is going to be in this patch. Otherwise, why are they showing him? But it's more that you get to sort of look in. Again, I think the blue, the crystallized version, I don't know for certain, considering all of this gameplay is of the blue variant, but I don't know if the trees that spawn from the last cops in the finisher are related to the color, for example, because all of the trees are blue in this, right? So surely if you've got the red one or the green one, it'd be different color trees, especially considering that the blue one is a variant, it's not the base model. Bit odd, right? I am really interested to see what new Yoru is going to do. I frankly think the ultimate is pretty broken at this point. Remember that you can't be seen at all, even if you're close, but you can be heard, hence why the Cypher's kind of freaking out a little bit. But that's all of the gameplay we have so far. So we get the finisher, we see one of the variants. If it's a bit more straightforward to sort out at launch, I'll be sure to make a video on some of the more other aspects of the gameplay. But like I mentioned, that's the new Skinline, the one that you can buy, the bundle. I imagine it's going to be about 7,000 to 8,000 Valorant points if I was to guess. But again, that isn't anything that is necessarily to go off, I suppose. The Battle Pass skin lines I'm going to go over very quickly. First off, we start with a Striker, we start with a Classic, all of the different variants, which are very much leaning towards certain character skins, right? Like if you're a Yoru person, your time has come. Not only is it being reworked, but this Classic is pretty much the aesthetic color that you want. And I say that as somebody that's been trying to aesthetically match guns and melees to plain KO right now, including the gun melee, which, by the way, is the best melee in the game. Going over to the Spectre, this is what it looks like. I think of all things, I like that it has variants, but again, this is kind of one of those typical Battle Pass skin lines. It's cool. I think it's going to vibe with a lot of people design-wise, but because it's a Battle Pass skin, it doesn't quite have all of the bells and whistles or a set theme and aesthetic around it, if that makes sense. Obviously, with Gaia's Vengeance, it's about nature, Gaia, those kind of areas, so it kind of makes sense that that'd be working, but whilst I've been rambling about that, just showing off the Bulldog, which again is cool, like different kind of guns that you can get in this Battle Pass. But so far, I'm curious on what it's going to be like, especially when we get to the Operator, which at the time of recording, I haven't seen. I think it's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are going to find it underrated. I think the yellow version of this is actually quite nice for a lot of people. But again, Euro players, you pretty much have it all set out with the red and blue skin line, which seems to fit a lot of the stuff. Speaking of which, we can also check out the melee weapon, which, yeah, it's all right. It's just a typical knife, unless there's some other animations about it that we're missing. The variations are cool, but like it's standard, I suppose is the way I describe it, but still pretty good. Lycan's Bane, we start with the Ghost. This is a skin line I quite like. Again, it's very much got the Gaia's theme vibe, kind of a mix of the Reaver, kind of a mix of the Ruin, especially with the handle of the gun, very much gives me Ruin vibes, so I assume it's sort of part of that kind of set. The Ghost is cool. We move over to the Odin, which looks actually fantastic. Like, this is probably my favorite Odin skin that we've had in the game so far. Like, it seems to fit this a lot nicer than it did the Ghost, especially with it being such a big gun. Moving over to the Stinger. Again, kind of what I said about the Ghost, right? It's very slimline. You have that nice sleek design, but I quite like it on a bigger, chunkier weapon, which is handy because if you're a Vandal user, you might be able to get another skin in the game. This is the Lycan's Bane Reaver. Well, I say Reaver, it looks like it. It very much is in that style, Ruin. So if you're somebody that wants something a bit more easier on the wallet than Reaver, or you can't find it in the store, this is something that I think you're going to work towards. And I actually quite like it. For a Battle Pass skin, it is really nice, I'd say. Finally, we have Divine Swine, which God knows what this is going to be like. I haven't seen this. And it is adorable. A little pig on it. This is the Frenzy. I'm assuming at this point there is a night cycle render as well. So if you go into dark spots, it is going to change and invert colors wise. So that's a cool one. I think it's very cute. This is a community battle pass as well. So again, I don't want to make this a super long video going over the Ares, the Judge, and finally the Marshal. Guess unfortunate that there's no big guns in here. And if you're a Phantom player, isn't really much in there for you overall. Quickly showing off all the cards on screen. Again, not wanting to take up too much time. Not too much really to highlight memes-wise. I think the aging pictures are quite nice. But of course, the main one to look at is the Save Widejoy one, which quite surprising how quick people were to make these kind of assets in the Battle Pass, considering the Save Widejoy stuff was, what, like a couple of months ago? In the last act, maybe? Wasn't that long ago at all. Buddies as well, straightforward stuff to highlight. It's some cool things that I think the Battle Pass is looking good overall, but because it's out already and people can see it, and we don't have a showing to show you, if that makes sense. Like, we haven't got early access to the game to make some Yoru content this time, which I think is fine, and with everything going on in the world, I think is more than fair. Some of the sprays are cool, like Woke Up Thinking, like it's some decent ones. I don't think there's any like super memey ones to really go over and highlight. I could be really wrong on that front, but I think that these are just really good sets, really good skins. Battle Pass, it depends what order stuff's going to be in overall. Do I prefer this one to the last one? I don't think so. But again, I want to see what it's like in game. I think a lot of this stuff, it's kind of hard to tell, but I will leave it there. Like a straightforward video. Didn't want to make it too long. It's still about 10 minutes, which I think is fair considering it's the new Skinline and a Battle Pass, which usually takes us 2 hours to get through normally. But yeah, a lot of stuff's been going on. Wanted to kind of get this all out there. Thanks for watching. Yoru rework and map stuff, if there is any changes to the maps in this next act, definitely will go over. There isn't a new agent, there isn't a new map, it's just a lot of stuff to the game. So I imagine the patch notes is going to be pretty juicy. So like and subscribe, keep up to date with all that, should be going out Tuesday. And yeah, thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, and see you soon.